Good morning, my dear teachers. In the last video, I made what are the aims and objective of teaching English in the classroom to the pupils. In this video, I am going to deal about the what is prose and what is meant by the prose. What are the aims and objectives of teaching prose to the pupils in the classroom? So before watching this video, please watch this video till the end to know the concept better of teaching prose in the classroom process to the pupils, and share this video if you want, and press the bell icon to get new videos from the Ganga Innovative English YouTube channel. Yes, my dear teachers, meaning of prose. Yes, a common form of written work. Yes, definitely. And work with the words and phrases. I don't need to tell the meaning of the phrases, clause and the sentence. So by the help of words, clause, sentences, phrases, we are able to build sentences and the paragraphs. So this is prose, and it is a verbal or written language that follows the natural flow of speech and grammatical structure. So in this prose, we have to strictly follow the grammatical structure. And what are the popular forms of prose or writing? Fiction and the non-fiction works are called the popular form of the prose. So, what is and when did it origin? I mean, when did prose had taken place in the world, not in any country I am telling. The history of literary prose dates from the late 19th century. Once again I am telling, it started from the late 19th century, when the King Alfred was the King of England, was born in England. He wanted to bring the concept of prose in England, because when he was King of England from the 1871 to 1886, he was born in Vintage in 1849 but died in 1889. Within the shortest period, he had done lot of work for English literature. He supported to develop the prose in England. He wanted to improve the states of English learning. So what did he do? He translated many books into the English language in England. Around the world, he had taken lot of books and translated to English literature, English language, because he wanted to develop the English language. So, what is prose? The word prose first appears in English in the 14th century. Actually, when the King Alfred ruled England in 1871, but it took 300 years to come into the literature. The word prose first appears in English in the 14th century. In the Wycliffe Bible and the Geoffrey Chaucer's The Tale of Melibee. So what is the meaning of prose? The word prose comes from the Latin expression prosa oratio. So what is the meaning of prosa oratio in Latin, which means straightforward or direct speech or सीधा सीधा बोलना चाहिए. So this type of concept in the prose we can see. So what are the silent features of prose? It comprises grammatical sentences and paragraphs and contains ordinary and the conversational speech in the prose. The purpose of prose is to convey an idea. Why we need prose? To convey the message to the next person or third person, or deliver information or to tell a story. The prose of any language, this is the main aim to convey the message to the others. It tells a story which contains characters and setting conflict and plot and a final conclusion. If anybody wants to write a story, in that story there must be conflict, a plot and the final conclusion. So this is what I am telling prose. So prose follows strictly grammatical structure. There is no language in the world without grammatical structure for prose purpose, prose writing. And one different that is differs from the poetry or verse. Actually prose is completely different from the poetry of the prose, poetry of the verse. And prose has no metrical rules, but the poetry has metrical rules. It has the patterns of the strong and the weak syllables that define the meter of the poem, and a group of syllables that follow a particular pattern of the stress. So this type of condition we can see in the poem, but not in the prose. We cannot see. And in the prose, no restricted in rhythm or measure of rhyme. So then, what is prose? The simplest definition of what prose is a form of writing, which has a natural flow of speech or writing. So this is prose. Once again I am telling you, the simplest definition of what prose is a form of writing which has a natural flow of speech and writing. It is grammatically correct but does not have a metrical structure. But in the poem we can see metrical structures are there, as something like poetry would have. But prose should be clear language that can be easily understood. So what are the three categories of prose? It has three categories. The prose has three categories. The first one descriptive, and the second one narrative, and the third one expository. So what is descriptive prose? Descriptive prose describes things as they are, as they appear to be. We are not able to change it. How it is, we have to convey the message to the others. And able to see things as they are were seen or heard or imaginated by the describer. No changes. We are not able to change it. The author tries to recreate what she has seen or imaginated. Once again I am telling you, the author tries to recreate what she or he has seen or imaginated through his or her description. Then what is narrative? Actually, we can see three types of categories of prose in the prose part: descriptive, narrative, and the expository. So, what is narrative? A narrative tells us that what happens or happened with the description of events. So, give more importance to the characters and events. We are giving more importance and to the characters and events. Deal with the facts. If it is narrative prose, it comes under the fiction, or it is fact. It may deal with external or internal events, the thoughts, feelings, and the emotions, and recreate an actual experience or an imaginary one in a way that able to experience it mentally. So, in the narrative category in the prose, we can see autobiographies, biographies, letters, travelogies, diaries, speeches, short story, and novel are the narrative fact. Then last third one, expository. Expository prose is to explain definition. What is definition? As it is, we have to bring it. And explanation of the concept or interpretation. Its primary object is to explain and clarify in form of logical presentation. There is no place for imaginative. It includes science, law, philosophy, technology, political science, history, and the literary criticism. So this is what I am telling, expository prose. There are three types of prose: descriptive, narrative, and the expository. Then types of prose: non-fiction and the fiction. What is non-fiction? It is not imaginary. It is this type of writing presents the explains ideas that tells about the real people, places, objects, or events. So, autobiography, this is not imaginary story, and biographies, an essay, letters, memories, and newspapers, articles are all types of non-fictional prose. Once again I am telling you, non-fiction, the meaning of non-fiction is, you see, it is not an imaginary story. It is a fact. Those are biographies, autobiographies, an essay, letters, memories, and newspaper articles. And fiction of prose. So what is fiction? Imaginary stories from the author. Fiction refers to a literature created from the imagination. Prose fiction is any creative, imaginary writing that is written in sentences, paragraphs. My studies, about my studies, science fiction, romance is there, fantasy is there, chick lit is there, crime, thriller is there. These are the fiction of genre and genres: novel, novella, fables, math, folk tales are the types of fictional prose. Either non-fiction prose or fiction of prose. Our main aim is to develop the language to the pupils in the classroom of English. So, teaching of prose English in the classroom. Teaching prose enables the students to understand the passage, to read fluently, and to enrich the vocabulary and enjoy reading and writing. So, what are the aims of teaching prose? Either through the biography or through the essay or through the what I am telling by through the fiction or non-fiction. Only aim is to develop the language better in the classroom with the pupils. To enable the students, so what are the aims of teaching prose? To enable the students to read aloud prose lessons with the correct pronunciation, stress, intonation and pause. If I read biography, if I read autobiography, if I read essay, only aim is to develop the language skills or make the pupils to speak. So this is the aim of the teaching of prose English. To comprehend the thought and idea, whatever if I read the paragraph, I have to gain the knowledge of that paragraph. So that is the main aim of teaching prose. And to enrich their active and the passive vocabulary. So what is passive and the active vocabulary? Passive vocabulary is that vocabulary when I am writing, when I am listening those words, but I can't write and to speak. When I want to speak and when I want to write, that is passive. When I am able to write and speak vocabulary, that is active vocabulary. To express to express the ideas of the passage orally and in writings. So after that, if I am reading the so many fictions and non-fictions, what is the aim to read the fiction and the non-fiction? To develop or express the ideas of the passage orally and in writings. To develop their interest for reading, make the pupils to read, and to enable them to write correctly, to build their character and prepare for world citizenship, and to understand the passage and grasp its meaning, to enable the students to understand the passage by silent reading. So these are the aims of teaching prose. And what are the objective of teaching prose of English language in the classroom to the pupils? So general objective I am telling, to develop the language abilities of the students. By reading the fiction and the non-fictional works of the authors, we can make the pupils to read and write and speak properly in English language. So this is the objective of teaching prose in the classroom process. Next, to develop the LSRW. If I want to develop the language skills to the pupils in the classroom, we have to make the pupils to read more and more about the lessons, topics, paragraphs, sentences. To enrich the vocabulary, make the pupils to know about the active vocabulary, to make the pupils. Then to explain the structure of sentences, we have to teach them what is the structure of sentences according to the grammatical rules. To grasp the ideas of the content, we have to gain the knowledge of the content. If they read the content, particular content in the classroom, to use English language without any problem. So this is the last objective of teaching English in the classroom. To use English language, to use means what? Wherever I go, wherever you go, to communicate with others, we need English language to convey our ideas, to convey our message to the others. So this is the supreme objective of any language, I mean English also, and without any problem. So this is what I am telling, what is meant by prose, and when did it origin, and what are the types of prose, that is non-fiction and fiction, and what are the three categories? Descriptive, narrative and the expository. Actually the King Alfred, who was born in 1849, he was the father of the prose. So thank you one and all.